Welcome back to Shemsuniverse. So today guys, we're going to discuss Mars and all 12 of our houses. So when we discuss Mars guys, this means where your ambition lies, where your passion is, where a lot of fiery type of energy resides for you. So this can really indicate where success can be given if you actually put your force into it. Your force is already naturally in that house. So deep inside, you're going to have a natural sort of fiery passion towards the topics of that set house. So we're going to get right into it today. So if you have Mars in your first house, especially if it conjoins with your ascendant sign, what we have here is someone who is a very big self-starter. There's somebody who wants to be in competition with other people. There's somebody who wants to make things in their own way. So if they go into a business or a competition of sports of any sort, they're going to bring their own sort of swagger to it. If they're in sales, they're going to make their own sort of sales pitch. If they're in sports, they're going to bring their own tricks in basketball, soccer, football, whatever it may be. But they're going to want to be the best. If you have Mars in your first house, that means that you are you have a very robust personality. The way you view yourself and the way you view the world is very healthy. It gives you a high self-esteem and it makes you have a warrior outlook on life. Whether you're a male or female, you're going to look at it like there's alphas and there's betas out there, and you're going to be in the alpha position and you're going to want to overthrow everybody else and triumph over them. Just watch out for being a bit too judgmental, too critical, and also too competitive. If there's people that are with you that naturally just want to be your friend or want to be your ally, just make sure that you don't crush them in the process of your ambition. Moving on to the second house. When we have the second house with Mars in it, this means that you're a very possessive person. You can be possessive over material things, your partner, sexuality, different things like that is what's really going to drive you and really bring you success, because your drives and your pleasure seeking is going to bring you to the point where you have to make a lot of money because you want to be able to afford the nice flat screen TV, the nice house, the nice car, be able to show off on friends and enemies. And that possessiveness, that need to have these possessions can be a bit vain, but it also can reap you a lot of good rewards. And a lot of people, they want to avoid the negative things in life, avoid the negative stuff that we have in our brains. But the truth is that our vanity can bring us success as well. When it doesn't is because karma is hitting you hard because you're being a bit too vain. If you're too vain with everything that you want and you have no line, no principles, then you're not going to get anywhere in life. The key here is to find balance, to understand that I do want things, but I have to get it in an appropriate way. Once you're able to understand that, having Mars in the second house is really a true blessing. You have an abundance of energy to accumulate riches. Mars in the third house, this is the house of communication, intellectual learning. You guys have a passion for learning, but more of a passion for communicating what you learn. And people that are here, I always recommend become some sort of coach or a politician of some sort, because you guys are so good at really persuading people with your words on what they need to believe, and you can change people's perspectives. Things like advertising, sales, marketing are definitely in your forte as well. That's in your ballpark, because you guys are able to really persuade people to view things from a certain viewpoint that you need them to. The accumulation of knowledge that you guys are able to get is quite incredible. And the way you guys are able to really take that leadership position because Mars is there, makes you guys a very powerful adversary to anybody. Your opposition will be overthrown by your communication, so focus on that because that's your main asset. All right, moving on to the fourth house. When we have the fourth house with Mars, this means that a lot of the themes of your life is going to be you're going to have a fiery passion for your family dynamic. Whether you argue with your family or fight on behalf of your family is going to be up to you, of course. But a lot of the times when people have Mars here, it's very mysterious because Mars is sort of like a fiery planet, whereas the fourth house represented by Cancer is very watery. And what happens here is there's a lot of emotional baggage here. There's a lot of bondage here when it comes to just feeling tied down and restricted and just kind of held down by traditionalism of the family. And either you're going to want to continue that traditionalism with a hard, dynamic, fiery passion, or you're going to want to break out of it. The choice, like I said before, is yours, but just make sure that you understand where you and your family stand and then use that passion to then overcome the issues that are going to come along the way. A lot of the times what happens with people in the fourth house as well with Mars there they end up having a family that might not be very economically successful, and they have this huge passion, huge vision to just make it so that their family is successful, and that's what drives them to success. Moving on to Mars in the fifth house, this is a pretty good one. Mars, when it conjoins with the Leo house, has a lot to do with like sports, gambling, outdoor activities. So you can be very successful in sports specifically. It's really, really good. Anything to do with risk taking, so like being a pilot, going to the army, military, like I said, being an officer, all of these things really work well for you guys because it involves risk, and with risk comes great reward. So this is one of the highest economically successful places to have Mars, because it makes you want to do things like be a performer or be a actor or producer or sports star or stock person, because you guys are so able to just look at a risk and say, yeah, I want to do that, I want to dive my teeth right into that and just really get into things. And that makes you guys very, very it makes you guys intimidating to other people, but also a very big inspiration to other people, because you have a courageousness and a bravery that very few people have. So I'd recommend using that to your advantage and just always watching over the risks that you're taking, but understand that you are meant to be a risk taker, and those risks will bring you the rewards that you are searching for. If you take calculated risks, you're going to get some nice rewards in the process. Moving on to the sixth, when we have Mars in the sixth house, house of Virgo, this is more so about like organization, decoration, really having that sort of meticulousness about how things are laid out. When I see people with Mars in the sixth, I always want to say, I know you guys are going to be workaholics, and you guys are going to have a very, very disciplined sort of routine that you do each day, whether that be getting up, working out, or getting up, taking a cold shower. It's going to always be something very specific with you guys. And what you want to do is weaponize your habits to then bring you more financial success and more happiness and prosperity in your future. And the way in which you do that is simply by acknowledging that you are already a naturally disciplined person and acknowledging that you have a passion for organization. Like, you don't have to call that different things like, oh, you have ADHD or ADD, all these other things. What you have to understand is that you have something that makes you need to have things in a particular way. And a lot of people cannot even organize their own room, let alone be as organized as you with your life. So what you can do is be a sort of reformer for other people and show them through your actions how to be a better and more organized person. Only things to watch out for here is being cynical, judgmental, and not really accepting others for who they are. Some people just live in mess. They always say the genius people have a mess. I'm not really sure about that, but they say a lot of smart people just live in chaos, live in a mess. So you just want to not judge other people and just make sure that you're just living your own life to the best of your ability in the most competent way, and everything else will fall into place for you from there. Having Mars in the seventh, this one is more about somebody who looks for a strong partner. So whether you're a male or female, you tend to look for the strengths that you don't have in your partner. So you look for the person that can be more authoritative, more confrontational, more demanding, more ambitious, and goal oriented. All these things you look for within a partner. Now, that's not really a good thing. You want to make sure that you have those traits within yourself and that you can be completely self sufficient and independent. When you bring that sort of independent energy to any relationship, whether that be a friendship, a family relationship, or intimate relationship, you bring value. And we're in a marketplace in this world where this is value transactions. Our relationships demand value to be exchanged. And if you're able to actually bring the right set of value to every relationship that you go into, you'll have a lot more happy and prosperous relationships. But if you look at somebody else for that necessity, then you're going to have problems and it's going to be a detriment for you in the future. It's really as simple as that. Moving on to the eighth, this is my particular one. The eighth one is tricky. House of Scorpio, this has a lot to do with having a very, very strong survival instinct. The scorpion is very much about hiding under the rock and sting you if you come near. So when you have this there, you have Mars in the eighth, it really brings you to a point where you're looking at life from a perspective of either sink or swim. And that's a healthy perspective to have. I definitely have it myself when it comes to capitalism, when it comes to really just getting ahead and being pragmatic. But if you're too pragmatic with the people that are more soft-hearted and sentimental, then that's going to lead to resentment and people not liking you. Make sure that you're still having good connections with people, and that you still appreciate people for who they are and not just what they can bring to the table. Pragmatism is only good when it comes to business, but when it comes to actually friendships and family and intimate relations, that can lead to some bad things as well. The main thing here is making sure that you use your anger constructively. There's a lot of anger in the eighth house, a lot of need for transformation of your life, of yourself, of really reaping the rewards of your work. But you want to just make sure that you have patience and you exercise those things. The main career recommendations when you have Mars in the eighth house is things like being a psychologist, a therapist, a teacher, all of these things, because you go through such a traumatic childhood and early life that you're able to use those things as great teachers, and you can help youth in the future as well. Moving on to Mars in the ninth. Mars in the ninth just makes you want to be a conqueror, sort of a voyager, somebody who wants to go to foreign land, sovereign land, and take it over. This really brings an extra fire to it, and it's a really nice one to have. When you have Mars in the ninth, this makes you somebody who looks at spiritualism, ideologies, religion with a very strong passion. You guys can be preachers, you guys can be architects, artists, anything of that sort, just because you guys have such a strong vision and such a need to explore the world and see different perspectives. And you guys are very open minded, which is a great strength to have. And when you have that passion and that necessity to view other people's perspectives and perceive things in different ways, that makes you meet different people, get different networks, and be very successful with business. So definitely keep your beliefs and keep your open mindedness, because that's going to be the key to your success. Moving on to the 10th. The 10th house is somebody who's going to get rich even when they're young. If you have Mars in the 10th, that means that you're a very forceful person. That means you probably matured very early in your life, and you understood that you have to be independent and a initiator, meaning that you don't really rely on other people for motivation. You don't rely on other people to create a vision for you. You pretty much don't rely on other people for anything. With Mars, when it mixes with Saturn, which is the Capricorn house, with careers, you look at it like, I need to get a top level career, I need to have a great profession, I need to take it very seriously, and you look at it like a sense of war. To get a promotion to you in a job is war, to start a business is war. Everything to you guys is a very warlike sort of thing. And if that is in your shadow side, meaning you try to put that to the back of your mind, don't. Bring it to the forefront of your brain. Understand that that is a very healthy, dynamic, and mental complex to have, and that once you can utilize that to your advantage, meaning use your mind like the weapon that you want it to be, you're going to achieve great success and find success a lot faster than you think. Moving on to the 11th. When we have Mars in the 11th house, guys, what we have here is somebody who has a very unique persona, and they're going to be a very much a black horse, the black sheep, the person that wants to be that individual that brings sort of reform to social circles, to different gatherings, to institutions. They're people that can really make a lot of great friends. They can build revolutions. These are the people that really have different ideas about life. And it's good to actually have these ideas, because this is what brings forth innovation. If nobody thinks any differently, then we're always going to end up with the same thing. You want to trust your intuition and trust your gut feelings. Trust that you have a sixth sense. Once you're able to trust that sixth sense, that's what Mars is really giving you. It's going to be very forceful. It's going to be very aggressive. Use it and actually listen to what's in your mind. And once you're able to actually comprehend and then apply that to your real life, you'll notice a lot of tangible differences coming about. Last one is our 12th. When we have Mars in the 12th, it makes you have a lot of creative ideas, very similar to the 11th. You have that sort of sixth sense. It seems like you almost have that third eye chakra open already, but you lack confidence. Because of the spiritual strength of the 12th house mixed with Mars, you guys feel such an overabundance of energy that it leads to stress and anxiety. And what you want to do is really practice things like mindfulness and meditation to make sure that you're not just wasting your energy on overthinking. Overanalysis leads to paralysis. If you get an idea, conceptualize it, apply it to thought, words, and deeds, bring that down to vision, planning, and competence, and then make sure that that detonates in our fate, which is our physical realm. Once you're able to do that, you'll be able to actually bring what's abstract, what's up here, down to here, and make sure that you're utilizing it in our current reality. And that's the main concept of this, guys, is that Mars is going to bring you guys success if you understand that you have a passion in a certain area of your life, and you want to bring that from your mental acumen to the physical realm. And that goes for all 12 of the houses. All right, so that does finalize my description of Mars in all 12 of the houses. If you guys do have any questions whatsoever, just please leave it in the comments for me. Aside from that, guys, please like, subscribe. Holla me tip for today, guys. Peace.